Welcome back to the video course. In this one, we're going to jump in and we're going to create a small database. And it's going to identify those social platforms that you're marketing or promoting your podcast episodes onto. There are a number of social platforms that you can post. Typically, it's Facebook pages, etc. Your podcast episodes in order to get it out there for the audience. And this is generally a manual entry every time. But there are so many out there. This particular database we're going to create will allow you to create a checklist on it and keep up with what you can and can't do, etc. So let's go ahead and just jump in and do this. So typically, as before, you can do it either way now, as you know. You can create the essential name of the page and hit the 6 dots and change into it, but now we can also do a backspace page and create our own page here, which will jump into that blank page. For the name of this page, I'm going to go ahead and call it Links to Post Podcast Episodes. Now in the prior video, we just simply hit enter, providing us a blank page here in order for us to work on. But on this one, we're going to actually utilize one of Notion's quick links, and we're going to choose this table underneath the database. When we do that, it basically creates a spreadsheet within or inline of the page. Now that we have our spreadsheet in here, it's simply the same as all the other spreadsheets that you're familiar with, whether that be Google Sheets, Excel, etc. The first column, I always like to make it as, you can name it as a name as it is, or description. And this is just simply a default text. If you're familiar with SQL, that type of deal, this would be your primary key. The second one, we're going to change the tags into actual URL. So in order to do that, you can click on the column header, choose the multi-select under the property types, and basically you're changing the property of the cells within the column. So whichever way you want to choose this is where the format or the property of the column will be on the spreadsheet. Here we're just going to choose URL, and I'm going to rename the column to links. So what I'll do is I'll have the name of the platform that I'm going to share my episodes on, and I'm going to have the actual link to that specific, whether it be a Facebook page, a website, or a forum, etc. The next column, we're going to choose to plus sign for the add, and this will add an additional column for us. Now on this one, I want to choose the property type to be a checkbox. And you'll notice that it'll automatically default the checkbox here. And on my name of the column, I'm going to actually put a date on here. So today is technically 2/23. So I'll go ahead and put today's date here, and I'll show you why in a minute. So at this point, we just have a simple 3 columns in our spreadsheet to identify the platform that we want to share our episodes on, as well as the URL link column and a date for checking off and on. So as an example, let's go ahead and put in a known podcast recommendations. So let's just call it podcast recommendations. Let's say that this is a social platform that you know that allows you to post daily to market or promote your podcast. What you'll want to do here on the links is, you notice that it says edit URL with a little pencil. You can click on that and you can literally put in the URL there. Now URL is nothing more than a website, page, etc. Just like you see up here on notion.so, that's a URL. But it will probably be more detailed and longer. So as an example, we're just going to put in HTTPS link to page as an example. Now the idea here is basically identify everywhere that you're wanting to promote and market your podcast episodes. You're going to, as you accumulate this, increasingly add these here as well, the links to get to it. And then on a checklist, I typically put in the date up here, and then each day that I go in and able to do so, I will click it off as I do. And again, it's just like a to-do list. And this will let me know which days that I promoted on which platform. The links themselves just is a easy way to, again, jump into your podcast hub, because you want a one platform, one resource, and click upon that link, which will take you immediately to that page, allowing you to grab your templates, modify them accordingly, and submit them onto there. Now this can get extensive, and I may create another video course in order to do that. But for now, this just allows you to keep everything centralized and utilized every day or every week. A couple of things that I would recommend. Let's say, for example, this particular page allows you only to do it on Wednesdays or Fridays. You can easily put in there, let's say it's called podcast limits, but make yourself a note. Only Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So now you understand that you can only post it on here, and on a Tuesday comes up, you won't be wasting your time to jumping in there and go, oh yeah, according to the rules and regulations, I cannot post during that time, because I've seen that. So that's basically how we do that, and we can jump up back to our podcast hub, and now we have a direct link off of our landing page straight into here. And then each day or week, whatever, we could go in, post it accordingly, and then mark it off as we do so.